Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this Monster Energy DreamHack Studio broadcast of the Nordic Championship 2019 summer season. We just watched half of a MJ versus FH matchup where they 2-0'd the Icelandic first seed, and we will be heading into another Icelandic brawl here in the second match of the game. It's Copenhagen Flames versus Dusty. So, Trouble, tell me a little bit about Dusty, will you?
Right. So I would say that Dusty has kind of been hit and miss. So they do have a focal point where they need to focus on and try to grow their lead from there. And that would possibly be their jungle and Joachim. Because he's a little bit kind of like what Debu is for MJ. So he really favors these early game aggressive junglers. He likes to take the lead from his jungle, and he loves not to miss a single smite when he's around. All right. So he's a very strong jungler. He favors sort of the same champions with the addition of Jarvan, which is something that we need to pinpoint down and see if it's actually going to get banned because he's got 2 wins back to back versus MJ with that J4. Other than that, another criticized point we had was Nipla's performance in the first week when we saw Dusty and they lost versus Neon. And we're like, is he underperforming? Is he maybe not playing, something he's comfortable at? Well, he replied to all of these questions playing against MJ with an extremely amazing performance on both Gangplank and Rumble in the top lane. And it seemed to kind of influence the entire team and how confident they were in general to play their own game. On the other hand, Adi seemed to do a pretty good job in the mid lane. He pulled out a Malzahar, which he did amazingly on last week. And Hoyes and Bad Habit are no strangers to the scene either, because Hoyes is kind of like an Icelandic VL of his own. He kind of favors the same champions, even though he favors Kaisa a little bit more. In general, though, the bot lane of Dusty prefers to play a little bit more aggro than what we've seen in general in the tournament. And this is something that I really like about them, because Joachim can usually play throughout that bot lane round.
And on the other hand, we do have the Danish Copenhagen Flames. Remember, both of these teams find themselves at 2 and 3. Both middle of the pack teams were looking to distinguish themselves from the rest. And Copenhagen Flames, they're an interesting team in the sense that they sort of live and die by their early game proactiveness. When you look at Copenhagen Flames, you got to keep your eyes on Young. And while the laners can hold their own for the most part, whichever lane Young decides to influence, it tends to turn into the win condition big carry for the specific game in question. We can most likely expect Copenhagen Flames to draft their comfortable bruiser lineup in top jungle mid with heavy preferences for Aatrox, or default into a double ADC Corki composition, while stuff like utility Karma tops, which have become a staple of the tournament, they don't tend to be played that much. Also expect Copenhagen Flames to play heavily around neutral objectives with a tendency to not be able to close out series, however, despite fantastic KDAs on several of their members. For example, Kalhira rocking a solid 6.0 across the tournament.
That's because he's everywhere.
Yeah, Copenhagen Flames also will need to channel and play to their style really well now if they want to take on an up-and-coming Dusty. And Trouble, Dusty, they've found their winning formula. The Joachim and Adi duo focus here, and the duo roams and the interplay that these two make, they've proven that this is an non-stoppable combo, but a very potent one. And Copenhagen Flames, as we said, have struggled to close out the series, so perhaps this will be a huge obstacle for them to overcome.
It's crazy because Dusty has either lost the games hard or won them hard. There's no in between with this team. Where in Copenhagen Flames, even when they've lost some games, you saw that they were trying until the last minute to turn something around. It wasn't like a game where it was, lost in 20 minutes in, and then we're not going to have any point in the late game because we don't have any hyper carries, we don't have anyone who's scaling. So we're talking about two completely different teams here, because Dusty is either going to go hard or they're going to go home. And Copenhagen Flames are a team where they know that if they're behind, they know how to stall. They know how to actually, pull their vision out and play towards that and play towards the player who's actually going to scale towards the late game and keep them safe, put them on a side lane so they can farm, while all the others are defending, different places in the map. Maybe it's a tower, maybe it's a bath, maybe it's their own jungle. So this is why this game is interesting, because I feel like if Dusty gets going, sure, they can stop Copenhagen Flames in the early game. Are they good enough, though, to translate the early game lead into mid game pressure into a win against the team that knows how to basically turtle the game really well?
Yeah, and how well do they play into Dusty's tendencies also, which is what we have to ask ourselves, because even when they won, a lot of these issues that they seem to be having on an individual level, with the disrespect issues, with the face checking issues, with the
Oh, yeah.
strange wording, they were still there. So there are points that Copenhagen Flames can quite easily exploit if they manage to turtle out and get Dusty impatient. Now, we are into picks and bans. So first, a ban phase will include a Kaiser Gragas as well as a Jarvan ban away from Dusty, and Dusty reply with an Aatrox, Silas, and an Irelia ban, and that has the result of a first lock-in Zaya.
Wow, what a surprise! Highest win rate champion in the tournament. Boy. On the other hand, though, this is something I definitely did not want to see from Hoy's and Bad Habit, because I enjoy their aggressive nature in the bot lane. So maybe something like we saw previously in the previous game, where you go with the Yumi, sure, but then you have the Lucian in there, so you can pressure that early game advantage. Now you're in a lot of danger because you're playing against triple lockdown if they lock in the Setsuani here. So you're giving a lot of control over to Copenhagen Flames to make plays on you, because sure, the Ezreal can again shift, but you've got so much CC and lockdown on the side of CF that even if you're arcane shift, there's so many ways they can still catch you and lock you down.
It's true, but honestly, I'm gonna be very real with you and say that I kind of like that Dusty have gone for this Ezreal Yumi composition instead
No.
of running for something like a bot lane hyper aggressiveness. There's that all of lock in, but my point sort of is that on this Nautilus, they either go hard or go home, as you said, and it has been go home quite a lot. They don't seem to really analyze the situation of where do they really want to use this Nautilus for, and sometimes they tend to overuse the Nautilus and put themselves in sticky situations. But that Olaf, though, speaking of lockdown, who doesn't care about lockdown? It's the Olaf. So how does the Olaf fit in here?
I mean, the only way you can actually reach the Zaya is if you can get through the feathers, and if you can get through the Featherstone, because this is mainly what stops, a lot of assassins and a lot of hard lockdown champions, because you make your way through the Zaya. You're like, I got her, guys, I got her. And then the Featherstones pulls back her feathers, and then you have like 2 or 3 people locked down in place and get extra CC'd by the Rakana, the Setsuani, respectively, while you're trying to get onto the backline hyper carry. Now, like you said, one person who does not care about all that lockdown is Olaf. When he presses Ragnarok, his ultimate, he can go through all the CC, reach the backline, and sustain while getting super low. So this is a great pick right here from Joachim, because he likes to play the aggressive style, but this time he has the assassination style on the backline as well, where he can actually reach the Zaya. Now, what I would love for him here from Dusty is something else that can help Joachim get into the fight. Get him maybe an assassin to go with him, or a Corky with the packets jumping all the way to the backline.
Yeah, you talk about the package jumping into the backline. Also, this is, as we mentioned, a takeaway from what Copenhagen Flames like to do, which is defaulting to that double ADC comp with all of the lockdown
Ooh.
that they already have. A Zed would be interesting because obviously the Corki brings a lot of safety. You're facing a Yumi also, which makes any target that much tankier. And it is going to be that lock in. Now, Zed, how do you want to use this set into a team like Dusty, though?
Okay. Basically, what Corki is good at is either mages in the mid lane or melee champions, such as maybe the Silas and things like this. Something he cannot deal with at all is melee, not melee, I'm sorry, is AD assassins, such as the Talon, such as the Zed. You've got so much mobility, so much farm potential with the Zed that you don't actually need to get close to Corki. And once you do, you brute force all your kill potential onto him. And remember, that's not an AP assassin, that's not an Akali, that's not a LeBlanc that you're gonna be able to itemize a Hex Drinker probably towards them. This time it's a Z. You cannot really itemize because you can't go hourglass. You might have a stopwatch in there, but that's like after 10 minutes into the game. So literally you have a Setsuwani that can lock you down and a Z that can brute force all the damage onto you and completely force you out of your lane.
You say that it's not an Akali, but you know what, Trouble? It kind of
There's a
is. Because
there's an Akali as well.
they lock in the Akali, will likely switch that one up to the top side, and Dusty seemed to answer with that Camille. So Camille versus Akali. I'm not personally too familiar with this one. I'm gonna give you that, but I feel like Akali should have some upper hand in the early game, with Camille slowly becoming too much of a menace. Or am I completely out of the loop here?
No, usually Akali is something that is great to play against, melee champions because you have your sustain, but you can also wave clear pretty easily in the early game. So you can start pressuring these waves in and then actually roam down the river with your Setsuwani, try to lock the Olaf down early game. So here, basically, what you have is sort of triple priority lane for Copenhagen Flames, which also unlocks Sejuani to go wherever she wants. Because guess what? She's gonna have company from her laners first. If Young chooses to invade and try to find the Olaf in the jungle. Now, Olaf is not an easy champion to try and pin down in the jungle, especially in the early games. But what he tends to do is you want to usually get super low HP with the Olaf because then your clear speed is much, much faster, which makes the priority even more important for the set of CF. Because if Yang says, all right, now that I have priority, I can actually invade and find that low HP Olaf and possibly force a summoner or even grab a kill. And you also have the two assassin laners that are dying to grab a kill super early into the game.
It's true. However, not all Olafs obviously put themselves at super low HP. So yeah, you can scout for it, but it has to be this coordinated team effort, I believe. So both Eden Fox and Nijhuis would have to get some sort of advantage early on to assist Young there. And we talked about this a little bit before. Young is the person that we have to keep our eyes on. He has so many options here for laners that he could get ahead. And wherever this man goes, that is where the focus point of the game becomes. So there's an Akali top, there's a Zed mid lane, there's a Xayah Rakan duo bot. He has all the options in the world, despite perhaps not the best setup outside of bottom lane. But it's literally watch where Young goes and then watch that person for the rest of the game. We're going to see just what he chooses as we are heading into the game with Dusty versus Copenhagen Flames. It's match number 1, guys. 2, 2, and 3 teams going up against each other once again, and we're underway. So, Trouble, who do you think that Young would choose to get ahead in the early game?
It has to be someone from the top side of the map, either Eden Fox or Nishuis. I mean, you've got everything on your plate. Start feeding your assassins, and they're gonna get you ahead. Super early game fed assassins can mean so much trouble for a super squishy team that Dusty has. I mean, you can actually focus everyone but the Olaf because you can't really lock him down, post 6, and he's going to be a little bit more tanky than the rest of the team. But everyone else is ready and available to die if one or even both your assassins are fed. So once Eden Fox or Nisui start getting ahead, then that means that Dustin needs to start itemizing defensively. That Ezreal is definitely going to go towards the Gauntlet route. He might go, though, towards the Bloodthirster to try and regen instead of going the usual Gunblade build we've seen them go towards. So there might be that case where we see the triple lifesteal build coming out of the Ezreal, especially against a Zed as well in the mid lane and an Akali added to this. We've seen it build in the LCK, if I'm not wrong, very recently. So there are ways you can itemize your Ezreal around, and he also can output so much more damage while sustaining at the same time, which is something that you don't necessarily need because damage is not something you're lacking on the lineup of Dusty, but it's something that makes you much more durable and much more reliable to stay alive.
So with this triple lifesteal build, we're talking Blade of the Ruin King, Gunblade BT, or any other shenanigans?
We're talking about Blade of the Ruin King, BT, And I'm missing the name of the QSS item right now.
Mercurial Scimitar.
Exactly, because there's also a Setsuani, so that would be perfectly used against Kalira's Rakan as well.
Okay, interesting. We're gonna have to keep our eyes on several members here in this game. A lot of intricacies that could come out as a response to what the enemy team is bringing out. A double assassin composition against a double ADC composition usually tends to mean trouble. But if Dusty can pull through the early game, there will be some windows opening for them later on with that scaling coming in. So nothing strange happening for the side of the junglers. They are on opposite sides of the map, clearing out their full jungle here, with Joachim being slightly faster. And yeah, you said that Young might focus the top side of the map, so we'd have to recall and then come in.
Yeah, that's why you see Niswish is playing kind of like laid back. He's not really pressuring his lane because he knows that his jungle is on the side. But saying that though, he made a very weird move there.
Yeah, a little bit of a weird move. He goes in and is gonna most likely die to first blood here. Yeah, that's donated onto Nipla. Kicks him in the face, and Nishu is a false. So as you said, jungle on the opposite side of the map plays behind or plays back, and then decides to somehow, for some reason, go in and die.
I was about to praise Niswish because I was like, he's playing this perfectly. He has the priority if he wants to push, so he can actually push the wave. But because Yang is on the bot side of the map, you don't really want to be making plays because you don't know where Joachim is at this point. So I'm like, it's perfect. He's freezing the wave towards his side until Yang decides to come, towards the top side. And the second I literally say that and I praise him for his wave management, he literally pressures Nipla. And yes, we've criticized Nipla and his performances, but ever since we've seen him being ahead, he never stops being ahead. He kind of snowballs his lead. So all eyes are peeled onto Nipla, trying to put the pressure down from the top lane.
Hey, we gotta turn into spiders or something if we're gonna keep our eyes on literally everyone here, because Nipla indeed getting that first blood, but he chose to walk back to lane, so he's now down 16 CS. Yeah, he has got a little bit of a wave to pick up there, but being down in XP and gold there, choosing not to use that TP. There's obviously the dragon spawning soon. It's an ocean dragon,
It's
right?
an ocean, yeah.
Do you really prioritize it that much to kind of forfeit a lot of gold that way?
I don't know if they're planning to pull some sort of gank somewhere and he wants to have his TP available, to join in. But I would say that was a pretty much of a questionable decision because Niswish had already blown his teleport. There's only an Ocean Drake down bot, so you don't really care to TP back into your lane and pressure your advantage even more. So that was indeed a little bit questionable. We'll see if there is any gank that Joachim wants to pull off that requires Nipla's attention and TP as well. So we'll have to wait and see about this one. Or I'm not sure if it was that much worth of a play, to be honest.
Yeah, a little bit of a question mark there coming in from both sides. But all said and done, we do have a slight goal lead for Nipla nonetheless. So there you have it. They are trading a little bit here. Nishu wins out on that. So despite the early pressure for Nipla, he is finding himself on the back foot of this matchup. And actually, there's a TP coming in bot side as Hoyt picks up a Sheen. A little bit of power spike comes in there. And honestly, Trouble, I don't think the top lane matchup really sways much in Nipla's favor after 6 either, because that's when Akali becomes even more oppressive.
Ooh.
Actually, mid-side.
Okay, do you want to jump towards the Z? Maybe you do when you're
so.
all up right on back. But again, you see here how strong Niswish is. Oh my god!
Yeah, he's walking a fine line there. Nishu is, yeah, he's
but
showing
off. Tower dive solo strong.
Not really. Almost though. With the execution damage, it's almost borderline that he can do it, especially with now forcing the flash. But yeah, a little bit of a display of power there, we should say.
This is possibly why they were saving the teleport, but that is again a great sneak of a dragon, which I'm pretty sure CF had already thought about because the bot lane back, so there was no priority in the bot side, and thus sneak that Ocean Drake, which will hopefully give Nipla a little bit more help sustaining against Nishui who is actually a beast so far on that Akali, and he's pressuring Nipla non-stop, even though the gold for the first blood went into Nipla's pocket. It seems like he cannot put the pressure down yet. So he might be needing a little bit more of Joachim's attention once they're level 6. I mean, Nipla is level 6, but Joachim is not yet. So we're gonna have to wait and see. And we have another 1v1.
They are going hard up on the top side. Nishuis does not have the ultimate available to him, though.
He also
So
doesn't have
Nipla
vision.
should be perfectly safe. Yeah, they
Oh,
don't
what?
have much vision either. Meanwhile, on the bot side, actually, it's Hoyes who's going to go down for at the hands of Gooby. And the fight doesn't tend to stop there, actually. A disengaged axe from Joachim will say no more. And Hoyes is the only casualty. But still, that's a big swing in favor of Gooby.
Alright,
Look at
so
the chunk mid lane. Wow.
that
50%
was
HP.
all Summoner's fault. And he's
mid lane.
forcing...
Flash
A flash?
forward. This is the Hurricane. But the Ignite is ticking. No, it's not going to be able to kill him. Oh man, if you flash for that, you have to connect that Shuriken, but instead, just blows his
I
own
think
summoner.
Eden Fox was confident that even the flash shuriken was not needed, and then when he sees Adi chucking down the pot and actually regenning from the ignite, he's like, oh no, I need just one more hit for it, misses, and ends up trading all his summoners for Adi's summoners, but that always will benefit the assassin, who is under attack by Joachim right now.
Yeah, and here comes Two Short Barrage also. Eden Fox, flash forward by Joachim, but he gets knocked up. Or actually, it's the
boy.
Ragnarok that comes in. And look at the lifesteal of this thing. Axes, there comes Adi with the package, and Joachim is stunned up. But who even cares? Gets the double kill onto young Adi, gets one, and it's a 3-for-1 in a situation that looked quite okay. For
And
Copenhagen
remember, the lower the Olaf, the harder he dies. So even though Kalira was able to save Eden Fox, they're like, oh wait, we can actually turn this around. But guess what? You can't turn this around without Ignite versus a low HP Olaf, who's also got a little bit of damage onto him. He regens so much and gets so much attack speed back that he's able to sustain through 3 people trying to get him down. That was a great showing by Joachim on the Olaf, and things are starting to heat up here because Adi picked up a kill there, and I'm expecting to see some more action because if you look all over the map from the mid side towards the bot, everyone is summoner-less, so that is a great hit for the Olaf to go to.
Yeah, Joachim being a lean, mean lifesteal machine here, and he's got so many options available to him. As you said, there are no flashes available anywhere apart from obviously Nish, who is top side flash. So very volatile couple of minutes coming up here, and watch Young on the left. He is trying to enter this bush, so Copenhagen Flames would have to push this one in extensively though, but it's taken their sweet time. Do you think all of this time they're spending here is going to be worth it?
I mean, you do have the ultimate up and available in speed, and you can actually try to get... Look, if that ultimate lands right now on Bad Habit, it's most likely 100%. The ultimate is up and available right now, so it is literally a matter of how fast can you attach, and if you're gonna see that Sejuani ultimate coming, because remember, there's no flash on the Yumi, so the only thing you have to get rid of NECC is attaching. Now, Nishwace is going again at Nipla, but on the top side river, Joachim is around, so... Ooh, Yang is still in the bot, and he's been spotted now.
Finally,
He's like, guys, I hit something there. There's something there, I'm pretty sure.
He got scouted for sure in that bush there, but now he will be capitalized on by the rest of Dusty. They actually allow him to walk past and seem to be donating the Scuttle Crab over to him as Copenhagen Flames bottom lane pick up a 3rd place of the bot side. Actually, watch bot lane. There is that Glacial Prison. It completely whiffs, but hey, you know what? They got what they came for. The turret plates are down, and a gold swing further in the favor of Copenhagen Flames bot lane.
I'm not sure that's what they came for, because Kalira presses his near him. Available quickness cannot really reach. Herald is going to go down in the top side, and we might have a tower dive towards Nish, who is in the top lane.
Yeah, they're looking for it. Watch Joachim's positioning there. is looking forward, but Nish, who is obviously being that Akali, is quite difficult to tower dive. But I think that was the Rift Herald spawn there. Yep, crashes straight into the tower. And as Joachim moves away, it's actually Nish who fancies that 1v1. He's going to go for this. Dash forward, gets the Hextech automation right in front of him. But flash forward, Nipla, can he just stand there right in front of the tower? He couldn't get out of the circle, the passive Akali circle, I believe. And it's gonna spell doom for him.
I think
Nipla picks it up.
He ran out of energy for the last to kill Nifla right there. He fell for the last kill, but I'm pretty sure he did not have enough energy to execute that. Something we need to take in consideration here is the faster the turrets fall for Copenhagen Flames, the faster they can actually split them up. They've got the two assassins that can pull multiple people onto sides, while in the mid lane, you've got a very safe trio to guard any towers. So even though you're gonna be possibly 3v5, you cannot be dived if you have so much CC lockdown on the Rakan and on the Sejuani and a super defensive ADC such as Zaya. So even if they choose to dive them to force something on them, because the two sides will be pushing with Nishuis and Eden Folks, who by the way, even if they pull multiple people, they have a chance of a turnaround, so they could potentially kill one of the two people that are coming to chase them, or even escape because they're both two very, very slippery assassins.
They are, and honestly, Copenhagen Flames will have to utilize these assassins quite well in the coming minutes. And what the quick 1-2 assassination, Yuumi finds herself unattached and unwelcomed, dies to the Copenhagen Flames bottom lane. And meanwhile, the death mark comes in the top side, but Joachim picks up his 4th of the game. Nick Ignite is running, is going to get the return kill. He isn't, it times out. Man, there's no stopping this man. Joachim goes top, picks up the kill onto Eden Fox, but honestly, Dusty will surely lose mid tower. Actually, Nipla gets stunned up at the hands of Young there, and TP's coming in as well from Adi, as well as Nishuis. And there gets the stun. He does not find the shuriken and will instead disengage. But all said and done, it is a Dusty tower defense, at least for now.
I mean, I have a feeling that Joachim is 1v9 yet again. He's showing how strong he is as an individual in this game, and you can see how instantly when Joachim pulls ahead, the confidence that exudes to the entirety of his team. They're playing so much more confident, so much more aggressive, which by the way cost Badahabit his life from how confident he was that he wasn't gonna get caught in mid lane trying to place a ward.
And there is that disrespect tendency coming in again. A little bit of a unfortunate misstep there by Bad Habit. Sort of embodying all of the bad habits there by Dusty. You can't really afford to throw away your lead at this point.
No.
And meanwhile, Joachim says, hey, you're speaking about leads? And let me show you a lead. He's in effectively 1 versus 2 because surely Adi's not going to survive for a long time here. And Joachim is trying to run away and toss some axes in, but surely he'll die. There comes the rest of Dusty, however. Final chapter's coming in, but it whiffs completely. Doesn't root a single person. Meanwhile, Nishu's on the left side. It's actually Eden Fox who picks up the kill onto Adi, as well as Hoy's slaying Gooby. There's the knockup, the CC, the charms are coming in. The cleanup crew has arrived.
That's an ace!
It's going to be a triple kill here, or going to donate over to Nishu, and it is going to be an ace at the 16th minute by Copenhagen Flames. What a turnaround.
I mean, sure, you can try to fight them. Sure, you have crucial items, like you've got your Trinity Fortune to your Corki, but the other team is running double assassin. You never want to face double assassin on a straight up 5v5 when you've got absolutely zero lockdown and you can't pin them in place. There's literally no one other than Yuumi that can pin a champion straight onto their place. And if you remember, last chapter completely missed. It didn't root anyone. So both Nishuis and Ender Fox were easily cleaning up everyone. Super early ace from the side of Copenhagen Flames, and everything is working so smooth for them so far. Apart from a few hiccups, everything's going great. Their 2 assassins are fed, their ADC is sitting on 3, 1, and 2, an ADC that is a super late game hyper carry, by the way, with an exceedingly high win rate in the league. I'm talking about the champion, of course, Zaya, and everything's just looking peachy. You've got the lockdown, you've got the tank, you've got double assassin split push, and you've got an excellent trio that can sustain any tower dive in the mid lane. It's gonna be so hard to crack from Dusty.
Yeah, Copenhagen Flames in a fantastic position right now, and honestly, I have to give credit to them for how they split up that last fight, right? It was everywhere, and assassins, they tend to thrive in these split up, brawly kind of situation where things are going on literally everywhere, and a class that doesn't feel the same really is going to be those marksmen. So intelligently and nicely executed there by Copenhagen Flames.
The thing is that usually when you're assassin, you want to try and kill the isolated carry. Now here there is 4 of them. The only person who you don't really want to be fighting against is Joaquin, because he will start getting tanky as time goes by. So in a fight where everyone is for themselves and everyone is literally running for their lives, because literally the first person to go down in this fight, if you remember, was Joachim. He was the only tank remaining, the only tank you actually have. So if everyone is super squishy, everyone is gonna start splitting. It's like the headless chickens when they try to run away but they don't know really where they're going, because they're trying to run away from the assassins and no one is there to actually keep them safe, because Joachim again went down first.
And that is that gold swing in favor of Copenhagen Flames. You saw them take down that top turret. You saw them take down a mid just now. And the map is wide open for them. Yeah, they're 1 Ocean Dragon down. But who cares about that as we head into the later stages of the game? Next Dragon to spawn will also be an Infernal trouble. So surely this will be a focal point in the next 5 minutes. Most likely to see these teams clash around the vision setup in just a few. So how do you want to use these assassins with that said?
Well, you definitely want to start splitting the map, and if it was me, I would possibly have Akali on the top side of the map and the Zed in the bot side, and when that teleport is available again for the Akali, you want to have her away from the dragon, so if you need her, you can teleport her back in whilst having the Zed super close and around. At this point though, Eden Fox is able to split push wherever he wants, because he can pull the attention from Dusty and escape or even return a kill, same as Akali. So you're having the split push while having a very stable trio in the mid lane who is not diveable, who is not engageable, there's not much possibility of them dying if they get engaged upon. So your only chance is to try and take down the assassin closest to the neutral objective you want to claim if you're Dusty. So take them down and then force a 4v5 out of Copenhagen Flames, and make sure that Joachim, for the love of God, does not go down first, because that's the only beefy member that you have in your team.
The only beefy member, and he is the one with the most gold on top of him. Meanwhile, on the top side, look at that. Deathmark 1 versus 1. ADCs versus assassins. Hey, Eden Fox will say yes, please to that one. Kills off Dusty's side lane split push holder, and now has full access to the turret. But watch Joachim coming in through the jungle. He will be able to push Eden Fox away, but crucially, another gold swing in favor of Eden Fox. Meanwhile, Nishui fancies a 1 versus 1, gets the Shuriken as well as the perfect execution there, and he will flash in, I believe, and get that 5-point strike to send Nicholas straight to the grave, and the double assassin combination is working out wondrous for them.
Yeah, Dusty is drowning in literally a drop of water right now, which is about to be... Because they were attacking 3 lanes at the same time, Eden Fox might be in trouble going the top lane.
Beautiful route. But I mean, on the bot side, that is. And Eden Fox in the top, as you said, that is a big shutdown. But the teleport comes in. Yeah, you claimed 1 assassin's life, but what about the other one? Exhaust comes in. There's the final chapter. What about the other one? I ask, and they seem to be perfectly fine. But what bot lane while everything is happening? That is an inner tower going down. Now 5 towers for them. Nishui's, does he have the damage here? I don't think so. Oh, almost actually manages to. It's the prowling projectile that picks up the kill. And finally, Dusty They trade back a little bit at least.
Wait, these are two back-to-back shutdowns that go back in the pocket of Dusty, and they actually managed to make the goal difference a little bit smaller by 3k. It is right now, I'm sorry, at 3k, and they are pinging Baron? Surely not. Now, the main problem is that when you have 3 lanes pushing at you at the same time, and you're lacking wave clear at the same time as that, then you're not going to be able to pressure on any lane to actually be able to kill somebody. So even if they all bunch up in the mid lane where there was only the Setswani, the Rakan, and the Zaya, then you can't really force anything onto them because you need to wave clear first, but you don't really have any of that wave clear. So they need to make sure that if you're Dusty, that Baron does not go down without a fight, because you not having wave clear compared with already 2 strong split pushers from Copenhagen Flames and a very solid trio in the mid lane that can knock towers down, that could be you losing triple inhibitor tower in one Baron buff.
It's true, there is not a lot of wiggle room if that Baron buff does go over to Copenhagen Flames, and then again to Dusty also, because you can't really, hold the Baroned up minions if you're Copenhagen Flames with this composition, but they will, however, claim themselves an Infernal Dragon on a double assassin combination, and they'll be more than happy with that. Now, however, Dusty do have the positioning here on the mid side, and will be able to get a lot of tower damage right in front of Copenhagen Flames.
Kalira, though!
Watch the side on the what's the engage on the right side, and also we have Nijhui split pushing on the inhibitor turret. Oh, he actually got the shuriken onto the teleport, so he's coming in right now. Watch him.
Oh boy!
Beautiful, perfect execution there. Oh my days, what a play. Connects with the teleport and flies with Nippla straight into the fight and turns it all around for Copenhagen Flames. Beautiful Akali gameplay.
That is the second time he's done that. On the first fight in the top lane where they actually aced Dusty, Niswiz did the exact same thing onto, I think it was Hoyes at this time that he was coming in with the teleport. So great stuff right there. Can Hoyes still? No, they're gonna wait for the true shot. And they might claim a kill as well.
Yeah, it seems so. It's actually Eden Fox who is going to secure that one with the death mark. So Baron buff now crucially on the hands of 5 Copenhagen Flames members. And what on earth will Dusty do about this?
I mean, that is a really hard task, if you ask me. You've got no wave clear. The only thing you have is poke. But who are you really gonna poke through Baroned up minions on every single lane of yours? And let's be honest, you don't really have the engage in your hands. Olaf is not necessarily a champion that you want to be forcing an engage on. You actually want Copenhagen Flames to engage on you, and then you can reply with Nipla locking someone down and Joachim running them down as well, whilst you have, Corki and Ezreal putting down the pain. This is not happening though because of how they need to split all of their resources to try and defend their towers. And right now with the Baroned up buffs, you will see that the wave clear is going to become so hard, but they pinned them in.
Oh, yeah, watch the pincer move here. Nipla gets the flank, but he actually dies straight off the bat. But it's a 3-for-1. However, Dusty, they need to get back to their inhibitor turrets because both of the assassins are pressuring them. Yes, the recalls are starting to come in, but with them interrupted,
no, they're not.
Fox and Nijhuis are going to be on these inhibitors as Nijhuis draws in the attention first, but they have to make a choice, and they seem to be leaving this bot lane inhibitor way open. And actually, are they going to be able to get 2? Surely not. Eden Fox, wait, he tries. Yeah, actually going back in. Watch him. He seems a little bit undecisive. Going to use that Twin Shadows to potentially finish off the inhib there and use Deathmark to get out again.
Minions. Beautiful.
He even has the GA available to him. Yeah, Hoyes is right there, but surely Aiden Fox should be able to get alive.
He's coming back around.
What is going on? Nijhuis, he's right there. And meanwhile, Eden Fox engages onto 2, bites off a little bit more than he can chew, and Eden Fox, watch this man. He just hasn't had enough. Final Chapter comes in, gets to root, but the GA is fully and readily available for Eden Fox. And he's looking for a kill onto Adi. He realizes that he's dead, and yeah, it's a little bit of a sloppy fiesta after the inhibitors go down, but you know what? The inhibitors did go down, and a massive win there, I would say, for Copenhagen Flames.
I mean, a little bit of indecisiveness there from Eden Fox. He's like, so let's take the inhibitor, so let's try to get away. Well, guess what? You can't really run away from a Yumi Ezreal combo with Gauntlet right there. So you're either gonna commit and completely kill the inhibitor. Luckily enough for him, he did have the cannon minion with him, and of course the Baron buff. So Winions over there take the second inhibitor, and there's only one lane remaining to be attacked. Now, the job for Copenhagen Flames becomes even easier. Just wait for the side lanes to push. Just wait for two people to be busy trying to clean the side lanes, pressure the mid lane as well. Or even better, if you want, you only have to wait 3 minutes to get the next Baron. So clear up all the vision from Dusty's jungle, put down your own pink wards, and make them face check you if they want to potentially, contest a Baron or a Dragon. I don't see them potentially contesting a Cloud Drake, but the second Baron would mean possibly the end of the game. So if you're Dusty, and if you have Joachim, and if he has his flash, which he does, you definitely don't want to let him anywhere near the Baron pit, because we know what happens with that when that happens.
It's true. However, the Baron is looking like a little bit of a long shot to try to stall for, as is right now, because you've got two heavy lanes pushing into Dusty's base. You've even got Nish, who is in the sidelines trying to wreak havoc here and allowing the rest of Copenhagen Flames to try to get this mid lane inhibitor turret down. As you said, the job has become quite easily laid out for them, and they are sieging it right now. Joachim is right there, however, but he only has a few axes to toss out, so not the best anti-sieger. However, they are wave clearing quite nicely with this Ezreal as well as Corki composition here. So perhaps, actually,
Oh, Nish.
Here comes Nishuiz once again. Perfect execution. There it is. He doesn't get the kill, but he does get the escape and chunks Adi away crucially. However, they don't necessarily time it the best with the mini wave. It's crashing down. Now they will be able to auto-attack the turret while Adi is back. There's the final chapter. Nifla goes in with the second ultimatum. Where it's going to be. He presses that stopwatch button. Meanwhile on the sideline, Ian Fox slays Hoys. And it's only Nipla and Bad Habit now available there. Oh, beautiful!
Are they?
Entrance by Kalhira. You can see why his KDA is what it is. And Nijhui finishes off the ace, and it will be Copenhagen Flames ending this game.
Oh boy. I mean, you're talking about Kalhira and his KDA, but when that 1v1 happened in the bot side between Adi and Nishuiz, Kalhira actually tried to snipe that 1 HP Adi with the redemption. So you can tell, maybe that's a KDA move right there, isn't it, Lance Miller? But of course, congratulations. Very clean game from Copenhagen Flames. They knew exactly what they wanted to do, and they executed that very well. They grabbed the two assassins, put them ahead in the game, then split them throughout the map. And even though the first move from Nishwiz was a little bit dodgy, pressuring onto Nipla when you don't have whereabouts for Joachim, and then the triple kill from Joachim as well in the mid lane, it just wasn't enough because the composition kind of fell short. So maybe they need to go in the next game and be prepared for what Copenhagen Flames want to pull against them, because they didn't run one assassin, they ran two. So you need to be prepared, you need to have that lockdown, and you need to have strong anti-push lanes.
So is that the response then? Have some more lockdown, I should say, in their team. Obviously, it was lacking with that Olaf composition and some more tankiness. Is that what they need to draft for themselves heading into the second one?
I mean, not necessarily tankiness. Even if you have the Rakan on your side, it can definitely help because it locks people down for a long duration of time, and then you can put down the damage. So I feel this is why I said I would have preferred a Lucian instead of an Ezreal, because then you get a little bit more of Wakelet, but you also get a little bit more of aggression and maneuverability with Yumi together to pressure your own lane, because you saw that the other two lanes were getting pressured by the assassins, but there wasn't any reply from Dust's bot lane either, and we're used to them being a little bit more aggressive. So by getting this poke lane, sure, your Ezreal will come online when he has Gunblade and Gauntlet and Muramana completed, but then by the time the Ezreal is online and he's able, to chase away those assassins, you're missing two inhibitors, so you're like on wave clear duty with an Ezreal, and it stinks a little bit.
Yeah, Dusty as a whole did not come online in game number 1, but will they turn it on and power up in game number 2? You'll have to find out in just a few minutes, as we will be heading into commercials. Stay tuned for what might possibly be the final game of the evening.